This whole thing, I mean, folds back to about here, and all you see are the cords of the tire.
So that's what pinched the tube.
No, the valve went bad.
That ain't pinching the tube inside when you're telling me that's what it was?
No.
You're kidding.
The valve was cut right in half.
Okay.
The valve was in my
Yeah,
hand, and then Corky goes, well, it must be low tire pressure run. I go, low tire pressure run 52 pounds of air in there, more than what it recommends. It's not.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, that's probably where the problem is. I go, it ain't where the problem is. So you can peel this back.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the cords.
Yes, yeah.
So, but this one is really bad.
Does anything penetrate inside on the tube? Does any?
And
no, it's still a full cord in there. It's just the tire that's sitting on top of that. So I said, Dad's like, can you change it? I go, we're not changing it because we're a totally different number. And then in the morning when we pull out, I'd have to recalibrate the tire, and then I'm not going to trust it all day.
Especially having the Band-Aid.
So I'm going, we're putting just a new tube in. So we put the new tube in.
But wait just a minute. Douglas, Navigator Douglas. Douglas Sharp, Navigator.
Yes.
Okay. How many miles was this tire pulling like this? How many?
Since we started, we went 1,750 miles.
1,750 miles.
This
part right here.
This part started to go, but after we had the flat and drove around on it for a little while, that's what really opened up, and now it's really soft. This one is still in good shape.
But you had to use this tire because your speedometer is calibrated.
It's calibrated.
This is accurate to within 1/4 of an inch a mile. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
What went flat then? What made it go flat?
The valve stem broke. So it was a metal valve stem in there, and I've been watching it all week because it was sitting up hard against like this because, you know, it's a 1911. I mean, we're 100 years old. We're trying to do things that this car is not supposed to do. And it finally just seam split, and when we were sitting still, it just cracked, which was a good thing because I would hate to have it happen in the morning when I was trying to leave or driving down the highway and get to a stop sign and realize I had a flat tire.
But the luck of it was this happened at the finish line at the end of the day.
Of
day 6.
Yes.
Wow, that is incredible luck. People don't understand the endurance factor goes in this way. You're ripping and tearing uphill, downhill, rural roads, mountainous areas. I mean, how steep was that hill? About
13% grade.
13% grade.
Like a wall. We called it the wall. We came to almost a complete stop.
The average steep grade on an interstate highway is 6%. That is it.
It was
folks.
probably twice that.
This is like going up a vertical wall, isn't it?
Stop.
How do you feel about winning this thing? I mean, you went through a lot of agony. I mean,
I feel good. The car performed quite well for what I've been with before with this car. I've been through with the car. Other than it getting really warm when we pushed it to the limit on 3 hills.
We had 13%. How hot did it get?
Over 300, and we melted the solder off the radiator. So Ray has informed me that that's 412 degrees.
Okay, but you used Evans coolant.
But we used Evans coolant, and Evans coolant runs about 40 degrees cooler
Hey, how's it
than
going?
the temperature of the fluid. It holds the heat in the fluid and pulls the cool air away to keep the motor colder.
And they use
not
that
cold, but colder.
Funny cars use that. Race cars use it.
Race cars use that. That is the fluid of choice with a lot of riders.
So it is truly a race of time, speed, distance, and endurance.
That is correct.
And that means endurance for the drivers. You guys are in this car up to 12 hours a day.
Can be up to 12 hours. This year we got lucky. We were probably between 8 to 10 hours.
Right.
It's nice.
Thank you, Doug, and congratulations. This is an awesome win.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing this proud moment to Central New York.
Yeah.
So your dad said you drove this tire like this back from Chattanooga?
Yeah. We left Chattanooga.
It's nuts.
This was not really there when we started.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
And then it just all these cords came out the last day. So after that flat.
Was this there?
Yeah. That's been there the whole time. That's been there for a couple
years. Here's the secret.
Couple
That's
years.
A recap
couple
tire.
Years.
You can't buy the tire. They have to get them recapped.
I see.
So the recap started letting go, but in the process they started pulling the tire carcass apart.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Now the fact that they elected to go with that tells me that someone's got brain damage. All right.
But they won the race.
Well, and
But
the biggest
there
reason,
again, that proves I'm wrong.
but the biggest reason for taking that is because the tire is old and very hard. I mean, that rubber does not expand. So the key is that speedometer has to be 100% accurate all the time. So if our tire, new tire, rubber, it's going to expand, contract at high speed, low speed, that the speedometer will
throwing it off.
go in the correct speed. But when I get done at the end of the day, I have gone different speeds because of that tire growing and contracting. So that old tire, even though it looks like crap, consistently repeats itself because it can't expand anymore and it won't contract because there's nothing to contract on.
Yes.
There's no material left. I wouldn't drive it too much longer.
Don't use nitrogen?
No. That's a myth.
Dry air?
That's a myth.
Okay.
On these tires, maybe on other tires it makes a difference. So now the only other thing is that with this, we probably would have changed it if we were racing today. I mean, that got really bad quick. And then it's developing out here. You might have pressed it another day, but not much more. And then I would have just dealt with figuring out what my new time would be. And it probably would have worked, but I would have had to deal with that.
It would have been agony to dial in a new tire. Agony.
Well, enough knowing that how well we were doing, that taking that element away, I wouldn't feel good all day until I got my score, and I wouldn't know till I got my score how well I
You'd ruin one day.
right, potentially. So
So you're gonna bring that check to the bank and see what they say?
Goes from Chattanooga to Bennington, Vermont.
That's just awesome.
Well, we raced. We actually
I'd carry it right in.
tried to kill the car the whole way.
but so Ray,
We almost conceded
so we got
killing it.
10.9,
But it still runs.
almost an hour to change the super tire.
So yeah,
By the
that
time we were done,
was impressive.
Shit, so top it off, top it off the bead, stuff the tube in, blow it up.
Jan drove the support.
Where'd the power come from?
then get the air compressor to work.
That was
So, and we also find out that if you get a flat on the road, you have to hail down regular because the amperage coming out of this cigarette lighter won't inflate with the air compressor.
No,
So the air compressor in the back of the car looks good, but it ain't gonna do nothing. Maybe you put 10 pounds of air in the tire.
So maybe we got to start carrying one of them high pressure cylinders. It's made out of carbon fiber.
Maybe. But I think they're pretty big cylinders. But
No, you know, one like about like this, 2,000 pounds in it. Well, you can blow that tire up easy.
sure. So
I've seen them do it.
that's
You need alligator clips go around your back. Oh, you don't have a big battery. You got a teeny battery.
right.
Oh, is that little batteries all you got?
No, you know it's a big battery, but that's underneath the seat, so that would be another thing.
Okay, I see.
So overall,
champion.
we then so by the time we got tire change,
We got
all the cars were coming in.
That's why we got all that, and we got the bird.
The bird.
The only way you can get a bird is to win the whole event. And I've seen 20 of those birds go bye-bye. And I've had my hand on 3 of them and never been able to grasp it. And I got this one. I've been that close 3 times.
It's that winning tank of gas with your credit card.
Yeah. In '98, Doug and I missed a turn going into Syracuse, and we went from second, solid in second, to 40th. 42nd.
Holy shit.
That's how fast you drop by missing a turn. In 2003, we lost by 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. We lost by 3 seconds to second place. And in 2007, we were in the Napa Valley driving 30 miles an hour through all the wine, flat land, and the carburetor fell off this car. And we threw our bag of money out on the side of the road, and the guy came by behind it and sweeped it right up. Those are 3 times that we've been that close to grabbing that trophy. Money doesn't mean anything. That trophy is like more than money can buy. You can't get that trophy without winning. And to me, that's
you're going to bring this trophy wherever you go, right?
Well,
It's something you can be a little
very
proud
proud
of.
of it. Very.
Who was towing you?
I'm towing Dad.
Oh, with a Suburban.
Yeah.
And
At 6 o'clock in the morning. And
That's a Suburban?
no, this car it wouldn't start. Every other day, I mean, it starts just like clockwork.
That means I was at least at 400
Wait,
degrees on the
this, I'm making a movie. I'm going to send you, okay? The whole race.
which was like incredible.
Douglas. When I left you in Binghamton,
Car was running good.
car was running good.
Radiator had some issues. The car was running good.
You went to the motel.
Went to the motel, spent the night, got up in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, we're getting ready to go. He comes out, he always routine in the morning is we uncover the car.
It was the tire that we were
just to see
patterning
what
our
it's doing.
speedometer with. And Doug would
Turn the
not
key.
take it off. We actually had a flap with tube in it.
Nothing.
Tire usually starts right
Starts
up, right?
right up. Nothing. Hit the throttle again. The gas is pouring out. Nothing. Still nothing. We're dead. In the
It's time to go. You got to start your race. You got to get
Oh, yeah.
You got to get the start line.
So now the car is like, he goes, all right, go get tow chain. Okay, so I run over to where we get tow chain. We towed him from here probably a quarter mile before, so down the road a ways, before it even started hiccuping. We're just towing, it's just dragging.
What is wrong with the Velie? It never does that.
And then finally it starts hitting.
Yeah, same car. I've run this 11 times in a race.
And then, bam, it starts firing. So,
It's got 63,000 miles on it since they first redid it. 63,000 miles.
Retired a winner.
And all this whole
trying to figure out what's going on. We open up the hood,
and we fought
and
this thing
it is
for 4 days
just
to hold
soaked
water
inside. So
Soaked with
when
what?
Evans,
Oh, the coolant.
so all the coolant from the day before, because coming in, we didn't think anything of it, no big deal. So we're sitting there, and we look at it, the whole back panel is covered with Evans. So that distributor is soaked, like just dripping. So we changed the distributor cap, went out, drove the rest of the day, car ran beautiful. So then we got our score. We found out that we were 2.5 seconds, 2.1 seconds out of first place, and we were in Saratoga Springs overnight. Next morning, go to get the car to start.
Perfect time.
And between that point, we have taped. Howard, can you flip open the hood?
Sure. We got
That'd be good.
lovely.
Yes.
Excuse me.
They got
I will in a minute.
they got soft drinks in the cooler there. They
Thanks.
got orange juice over there.
Thanks.
That's good. Not both sides. Just the one. So then we decided.
Wait.
Water's running out of here.
Wait a minute. I have never seen so much tape and patching and mess in my life. How did you?
So then,
Gotta be a.
because it was so wet, Dad thought it was a good idea to cover. That's our fuse panel there. There is a Ziploc bag behind that, and then he decided to cover it with duct tape so it wouldn't get any further wet.
And it was getting wet.
So at that point,
And we had a pop bottle out of a garbage can over this.
Oh,
help
the
keep
distributor.
the distributor dry.
Man.
So then we got to lunch. Car's running great. We rent the whole rest of the day. Next morning, going for championship run, 2.1 seconds out of first. Car wouldn't start it. But it's dry now. So now we're like, what is given now? So we towed it around a little bit
We
more.
towed it for about a mile to get it to even fire and start up.
Then it started.
A long time.
It was a long way.
Is that a time mile?
No.
It was
in
a
the
while.
morning before we
So
had
then,
breakfast.
car got running again. Now it's raining. So now he's super nervous because now not only is the fan running, water coming in, blowing back, he's concerned about shutting the car off the rest of the day. Well, obviously the car's not going to idle for 8 hours. So we stopped at the first gas stop, and as soon as we stop, he shuts the car off, and then he has to immediately see if it'll start again. Sure enough, it started again. So we were in good shape. Car ran beautifully the whole rest of the day, and we gained at the final day. We ended up with a 11.9 for the day, and that put us in third place overall for the day, which our nearest competitor, which is the Knowles and Gentry team, they finished with 17 seconds, I believe. So we gained a total of 7 seconds on them the last day to give us a 5-second lead for the win.
And $20,000 cash money.
$20,000.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Boy, there is.
Wonderful.
Yep.
That is
Wonderful, huh?
Boy, it's agony in this car. I'll tell you, it's a lot of hard work. Just riding in this thing is like riding a buckboard all
Look
day
at
long.
that duct tape.
Congratulations, dog.
Thank you, Rick.
Everybody,
Really?
your age,
Congratulations.
your generation, and mine too, is absolutely proud of what you and your father did.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. perfect. I'll send you a copy. Disc. You get a disc.
So yeah,
Wow.
so that was
What a
so
story.
we took not only the first day, and then I told Dad, I go, Dad, I think we can do it. He's like, what do you think? I go, we just need to go out and drive the course again tomorrow, and hopefully we don't have any big hills. We didn't have any big hills going to Bennington.
That's incredible because there are hills up there.
And we got our scores, and we were ahead. So
Talk about it. Experience. Think about it.
But other than that, there were 3 hills that stopped this car all week. Otherwise, and the radiator happened in 7 minutes of our 9-hour day. It ruined
The rest of
as much as we could ruin. And prior to that, there was one other hill. Besides that, the car ran fine. Never a problem. Which is better than what we've ever had. So, I mean, to drive by.
That's all. Doesn't
It's
matter
100 years old.
because it's shaky. It could be done any minute.
But you're really not going to make it any better by machining something new, because that's the part that would break. Because the only part that's broken ever on the car that's new is the overdrive, which happens to be that whole rear drive shaft. It's the full length of the drive shaft.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Oh, is that it?
And only one time it broke going down the road by itself. We were driving and it just imploded.
Just imploded.
That was no reverse action. But besides that, Kenny worked on it and he just made it work run. Not this time. We got that pretty much figured out now.
That's good. Good job.
Congratulations on the new daughter.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't even know where she is.
He's over there. Yeah. Another girl. Huh?
It's from when you put oil into the engine.
What is this? What year is this again?
It's a 38.
38 Harley. Wow. No, Harley? Yeah, it's Harley. Wow.
Was that, they had that color in 38?
Yep.
Why, they were farther advanced than you'd think for colors. In the 30s.
Yeah, you got a lot of combinations. You got to understand them and all that crap.
Well, they're good in the winter. Keep it
You got to flood it first before it'll start.
Doesn't act like it's got a lot of compression compared to some of the others, is it or not?
I like driving it all. It's great.
I love that.
Wow.
Yeah. The Indians got the black ones. They look good here. Look at
Girls, because we went to Chocolate World and we went to the zoo because we didn't have far to go. Binghamton to
Hershey to Binghamton.
Hershey to Binghamton. Yeah, Hershey to Binghamton. So we played and da-da-da-da-da. And we planned it so we'd get in when the guys got in. So we're going down the road. 81 is terrible.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's getting rougher. And we're not speeding because Dana's following us in the Suburban with her kids and mom. And all of a sudden, Suzanne's driving and we hear the sound. We heard like a pop or a bang or something. And, you know, we're looking in the mirrors and nothing was wrong. And we didn't stop. We couldn't see anything wrong. And about 15, 20 minutes later, the wheel's shaking. And I said, Suzanne, I think you got a flat. And I looked back, and that tire on that side, the first one, was just flopping. You know, we were 1 mile from an exit. We got off. There was a gas station there. We pulled in, and we first called AAA. And AAA, of course, doesn't cover trailers. Right. We didn't know that. So I said, well, you know, I know how to change a tire.
Just gotta break it free.
So then Suzanne goes in to go to the bathroom, and apparently a tractor trailer had come in, and she saw the guy, and she said, would you mind helping my mom and I change a tire? And he says, he looked at it, he goes, how about if I just change it? I said, nice. He comes over, he takes it off. Well, first of all, he couldn't loosen the nuts, so he had me get in and put the brakes on, so that he had, you know, so he could lock it up. Suzanne and I wouldn't have known that. He gets it off, pulls it off, he looks and he says, you've got more than a flat tire. The spring that was welded to the frame was not welded there anymore. And what happened, the spring had come loose and caused the tire to
go flat. Did you have the Velie on this at the same time?
No. This was, so that's what it looked like.
Yeah, there's like nothing left.
So, you know,
nothing left. It's like an art piece. You can put it on the wall.
So now this wonderful truck driver, Hesse is a truck driver, and I hope you do the same to somebody else.
Sorry.
He says, let me call my buddy. He calls up a welder just down the road, and the conversation is, well, we're too busy, we can't come out. And the guy's saying, these girls are with a great race and they have to get to Binghamton. Okay, we'll come down and look at it, see if we can do it. They came down, young guys, 21 years old. They looked at it, we can do it. They went back, got their welder, loaded it on their truck, came down, welded it, and said, you'll have to come to the shop so we can do it good so you can do the rest of the way. Okay. Meanwhile, we had called Bob Dilger because he's support for another guy this year. And he was on his way down, and I said, well, I think we've got it under control. No, I'm coming anyways. You know how Bob is. It's so nice.
Make sure.
Yeah, which wasn't, it made us feel good too. So he was there to supervise everything, and everything was okay. So they welded it, and when they got the one tire off at their shop, Bob says, can you check everything else underneath while you're at it? And they ended up taking all the tires out in welding spots that were bad that he said, you better get these welded right now. And put the tires back on, and took them 2 hours. By the time they had met us at the gas station at the beginning, 2 hours to do all this. And I said, Bob, you know, how much is it going to cost? You know, what's going to be reasonable? And he told me, and when the guys gave us the estimate, it was a third-generation family of welders, so we knew he was good, and you know, they were so nice to us. And the price he gave us was under what Bob had thought. Wow. And so we knew they weren't taking us for a ride.
That's good.
And so we gave them extra, of course.
So now you're good for like 14
Yeah, it was on call, right?
Isn't this a trailer, the first year you took this trailer out and it broke? The axle came apart?
Is this the one?
Well, the very first one did. If this is it.
You had to replace the brakes on it
on the way down. We spent 3 hours in Erie, Pennsylvania with the Velie on it because the brakes weren't working. And they had to put new brakes and give us a new brake box, you know, underneath, inside and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, so this trailer really wasn't ready to go.
No, wow.
But now it is.
Now it is.
And then Douglas bid on this NASCAR tire at the silent auction they have at the beginning of the race. Everybody brings something to auction off. And so he wanted that.
So whose tire is it?
Who's number
It's
16?
signed by whoever this
Whoever that is.
Number 16. I have to look it up. I have to ask Doug.
I don't know.
Who's Gordon
42.
on the NASCAR? Or no, that
Gordon's number 42.
So that's the story.
Wow, that's something.
And that was the same night, that day that Howard had trouble with the radiator. So when they got to Binghamton, they were at a radiator guy getting welded. We were doing this, and Kristen had surprised us, didn't know. She drove down to Binghamton to meet us that night. So we never got to see her till about 7 o'clock.
You were 2 hours off.
And she was staying overnight with us, but she had to get up at 4 to be back at school because exam week. She couldn't get out of it, so she got up at 4. She said she had to stop 3 times to take cat naps of 8 minutes to stay awake.
I don't think I'd wake back back up.
Well, they say it, you know, it works.
That's quite the story here of this trailer.
In 8 minutes, so. 15 to 20 usually works good.
Yeah, that was. Wow.
Bless you and win and stay with one. Oh, yeah. And I pray for you.
It's like dancing music.
Dancing music, huh?
Nobody can ever not. Literally,
Burn 2 quarts of oil a day. Not bad, at least it's clean oil. Well, it lubricates the valves. And it keeps it from rusting. The car. And then the spark plugs out of it for like 10 years.
You think that?
They seem to run, right?
You think the oil would have an effect on the spark plug?
Right now,
they just burn.
Yeah.
Right now, I can try to do about $1.75 with the RM auction at Hershey with this car. This year. This year.
I saw some smoke coming out of one.
Did you? There's a few cracks in it.
Oh, your flowers just flew on the floor. Don't get zapped.
Gaskets out of it right here again.
there.
Well, we're not going to fix them.
Now you get all nervous about touching them.
The one that blew out.
Leak it a little bit. Yeah.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it, because you'll never.
Better off just leave it alone. That's right. And this thing here we had to cut a couple years ago because the 2 blocks would separate, and I'd get an air leak up here in these ends. So I cut this thing. Yeah, so I just cut the thing and hooked up a piece of rubber in the center. Cut it with a sawzall right in the side of the road.
Did you worry about the charge or not worried about
No, it's heavier than you think.
Who cares? You just give her the gas. Let's go. You don't have time to waste. But my slogan was the 3 R's: ride, repair, repeat. Every day. That's what I did. And that's exactly what went down. And it was fantastic. It was the neatest thing I ever did in my life. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life.
Howard, you ever thought about going to church tomorrow?
No,
This
can't go to
engine
church.
should have blown into about 1 million pieces.
No, it should have.
My starter quit working.
Listen, had 1 block of cast iron.
My starter quit working, so I looked underneath because the starter's mounted to the pan bolts. Well, all the pan bolts were loose on it. The whole motor had all the pan bolts were vibrated loose. I tightened all them up and I slid the starter back in, tightened up the bolts. The starter started working again.
So you weren't leaking any oil with all those pan bolts being loose?
I might have been. I was using them a couple quarts a day.
an oil change.
Not using any now.
Maintenance? No,
But it's a Velie motor. See a stamp Velie right there?
2.7
And there's a serial number right there.
whole way.
Right on that back little plate.
This old car's
It's 100 years old this year.
Car's done great.
Weather was good.
It is done great. All I can tell you. It's the most fantastic car I think ever manufactured.
So when he runs the most.
It's very good.
I think you just proved it.
built it on the road how many?
And he's put like 65,000 miles on this car since he's had it.
What about the year you dropped the clutch and tranny and everything else down in Tennessee?
Yeah, but I still made it through the race.
Yeah, but it's not
Well, I
bulletproof.
came home and I worked on it a little bit, you know, and then get ready to go again. This year it was 3 days before we left. They took it out of the barn and loaded it on the trailer. I didn't do anything to it, not even grease it.
Wow.
We're like, we're out of here.
You're just lucky.
We got a GO. We're like, now.
I don't think we're going to be going.
So that's pretty neat.
Well, we have the little.
So that's what's going on.
Kind of treating like on vacation.
Other people spend months getting
They were
ready.
staying down there the whole weekend. Hi, Lynn. How
Yeah.
are you?
Can't say it doesn't work.
How's our little baby doing?
Work for him. The non-maintenance routine.
She is way.
They had to put this decal right over my Velie on my tank.
I love your picture right now. Your profile picture. Yeah.
Coming off pretty good.
They were just keeping it clean.
There. Now it's right. It's time for this sticker to go.
Are they posted on your Facebook? Or? They should be. I'm not really good at it, so.
Yeah, what do you want me to know?
Folks, it's going to be a long
I used
night.
all my brain cells.
It's going to be a long night. Does anybody know what happens on a great race?
Rain.
And you get lost.
You get lost, yeah. You got lost. It rains. Let me tell you about the rain. That's nasty because in the rain, Dougie's sheets of paper get wet. In the morning of the great race, you get a big wad of papers about this thick with one big ass staple through it. And there's pictures and numbers. Can I have your attention, sir? Thank you very much. All right, we're going to cut that in just a second.
He was a school teacher too.
You are a finger pointer and that will not be allowed.
Yeah, you just gotta wait.
Papa's a shop teacher too, Val. How do we deal with it?
It's impossible. You have.
Thank you very much. Now you know what Douglas is up against. So anyway, they give you this big wad of sheet of paper, and it'll be a cattle crossing sign. It's a cattle crossing sign. It'll say a minute 30, 20 miles an hour. You've got to go a minute and 30 seconds to 20 miles an hour. But what if a shit spreader pulls out in front of you? Okay? What if it starts to rain? What if your tire blows? What if the Velie can't go up a 13% grade? Then you got to do what, Douglas?
Make up time.
You got to make up time. Tell us how to make up time.
10, 20, 30, 40%.
Were you a teacher
how you
at
do
one
that?
point?
Yes.
Yes.
You missed that, man. We talked about that 15 seconds ago.
I'm sorry, I'm drinking wine.
You know what? I would urge medication change for you.
Manure spreader?
It's bothering the shit out of me, too.
Was she questioning the manure spreader?
No, keep going.
Who was talking?
You were. Go ahead.
Doug was trying to talk. The bottom line is Douglas is going through. Did I talk? Who's talking about this?
I'm talking.
Who are these people?
We can still hear you, Ray, no matter what. Keep talking.
This is the first violent episode of Dan's Cat. Let's go with that right now. You know what I'm saying? I was with Howard and he was rating my snowmobile bag. It was about 2 degrees below zero and he said, I'm hungry and I gotta pee. I said, and he was peeing out the back bumper of my snowmobile. I took offense. And at the same time he said, you know, Ray, the best decision I ever made in my life is when I married Jan. My God, that woman's been good to me. You know, I would be nothing today. And I thought he was nothing. But he said, I would really be nothing today if it weren't for that woman. And you know, Douglas must take after me because, boy, he picked himself a good-ass woman, too. And then he reached in to my buddy's snowmobile for another beer. And it was 11:38 in the morning. And I said, Howard, you've got a problem. He said, you think? So here's a guy, the family matriarch, who gives her all the credit for what he has become, and all her grandchildren are coming to support this empire of junk. Look around you. How many had trouble breathing about an hour ago? Raise your hand. I mean, you would think that he just got a new prescription for Viagra. It's incredible. I don't get it. Can anybody help me here? I'd like to thank all of you for coming, and it means a lot to Howard, but that is an absolute horror story of a week-long trip that what you have to go through. When they're telling a story, oh yeah, it looks like a joyride. It looks like a cruise-in. But it's absolute agony. And why anybody would choose to do it, oh, by the way, I've been in a great race 3 times. We got other great racers here. Raise your hand if you're a great racer. Put your hand up. Put your hand up. You've gone. Okay. Why did we do it? Because we're crazy. That's right. But it's absolutely arduous. It's an awful, awful thing to go through. But at the end, when you bring home the bacon, when you bring home the check for $20,000, and he doesn't care about money because Howard's got more money than he could ever buy and smoke the rest of his life. All right. What is it about, Howard?
The bird.
The bird. The bird is everything. Because I don't think
you keep the check. Just give me the bird.
No, I got the check.
Oh, yeah.
The bird is everything.
The bird is the word?
You can't buy the bird.
The bird is the word?
You can't buy the bird. You can only win the bird.
And it's all about bragging rights. Brag, brag, brag. Because, folks, this is a national competition. This isn't something that happens in Rochester, Central New York, This doesn't happen in Syracuse or even down in Scranton, Pennsylvania. This is a worldwide event. This guy and this son are the absolute best for this year in Great Race Rallying, all right, in 2011. I want you to give a round of applause.
Great.
Thank you.
Let's open up some of the champagne.
You forgot to shake it.
You start driving your own car.
There's another glass too.
Shake it, then come on.
I didn't bring it here.
Let's hear hip hip hooray!
Okay, let's cut the cake.
All right.
Oh yeah, they're so talented.
Anyways, would you like a glass of champagne?
It's I think it might be red.
But he's happy to go on the race no matter what. To really make him happy, he really likes having fun driving that car. And no matter how much it bugs him that it doesn't work right, he should still rather drive that than any other vehicle that sits over in our barn. Now, with that being said, the first 3 days were great in the car because nothing happened, and we got in each night and go, what are we going to do today? Not that. Nothing, we'll check the oil, we're in good shape. And wow, it's really nice. I can't believe this radiator hasn't leaked a drop. This thing is perfect. I think we got it fixed. You should see the stuff I use now, and great, and it does it. It's not leaking, and there is no complaints as we're driving down the road going 35. He is throwing cards. We have these Velie cards, and he's got them stuck so he really can't get to them easily as we're going down the road, and then every once in a while the wind would come and they fill the entire part of the canopy. We got cards going everywhere. We're rallying, we're picking up cards, I'm looking for signs. He's like, what speed am I supposed to be going? He really does a good job holding the speed. But the deal was, after day 1, we had a pretty good score, and I said, you can continue to throw cards until we get a bad score. He continued to throw cards the entire way. It poured the one day, these people are yelling at him, and he's throwing wet cards at him. These cards are coming out in stacks about that thick. There's probably 20 of them he's throwing at a time, and he's got them sailing as we're cruising along. Trying to maintain speed. We are maintaining speed. Obviously, we got some good scores. But to say the least, I have more fun driving the old car too. I mean, I've been in 3 other cars rallying with them. We have a good time, but you pull in, and people go, wow, that's a really cool car. How old is that? Does that run on propane? No. We came into a pit stop. Wow. Is that a steamer? Yeah, it's steaming today. And then how old is it? It's 100 years old. We read about that one in the paper. That's really great. So it's really a great deal to go out there, and as well as we did, I mean, you always hope for the best intentions when we go out to leave for any race, but once you're out there and doing it, and you're that close to winning, and then being able to win, it's awesome. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So for Father's Day, I didn't get you anything else, so you're gonna have to deal with this stuff.
That's one of the best.
But absolutely, it was a lot of fun, and now, though that we have won and have completed it with that car, and for all intent since '93 when we started racing, with that car, it was we need to win the race, and then boy, we get close, and oh well, now we're done, and then we'll bring it back. Now that it has won, we don't have to use it again. so that's definite, but we probably will still try to run another old car if the race continues.
So you're on the market.
We have our eyes on a couple.
Yeah.
If you got any cards?
We just need to get the prices right. No, we ran out of cards. No. By the last day, we ran out.
We have some cards.
Well, I hit them on them, so we
Can
really
you pass it around to the folks who pay $1 a card?
But my price.
All right, 10 cents.
I know Howard will want to talk now.
Jan and I drove that car on the motorcycle cannonball last year from Kitty Hawk to Santa Monica Pier, and the card that you're going to receive says motorcycle cannonball. That's what we passed out. And you'll see Jan and I riding in the car, and I had my beard and everything else. It was all cool. And but no, it's been a great car. We've went across country with this thing 11 times, and it's just a huge undertaking to do that. And it's so bulletproof. It's just incredible. And she said, "Wait, you want to drink? So you better cut her off." But my slogan was the 3 R's: ride, repair, repeat. And we started to do that after the 3rd day. And that's all I did at lunch, at morning stops, or at evening or dinner. All I did was work on the car. And I enjoyed that. I guess that's part of my enjoyment of the Great Race. I wore gloves the entire way because I love to bite my fingernails, and that relaxes me. It's like smoking. So I wore gloves the entire trip, so I actually had fingernails at the end of the week. And driving home today, I've got them all gone. You know, it's great. But it does relax me. But trying to hold a needle on that car and continue to hold the thing at 40 miles an hour and everything, and Doug says go 41, 46, and 43. It's like, it's a bouncing factor. It's just so incredible. It is just blows your socks off. And I can't explain any different. Anybody who's never done the Great
hold it
Race,
still for me.
Rick Spur just did the Great Race for the first time this year. From Pittsburgh, or from Fairport, excuse me, and he had a blast. And Bob's cousin, I'm married. I bought it. Bob navigated. Bob should have driven for him to navigate, but it worked out okay, and they had a great time. And they finished the race, and I think they'll probably do it again. You can get hooked on it. It's as good as fishing, you know. If you're really into it, it's a lot of fun. And,
I hear Jared's navigating next year.
No, Rick didn't win.
I failed math, so I can't even spell geometry or algebra.
But listen, there was only 1 year going into the and we went from second
Hold it,
place
can we all get along?
to 40th.
We all get along here.
This is a navigator driver.
This goes on all day in the car.
In,
It's awful. It make you want to cry. Purchase inside, right there. Argue and fight, and then a big hug at the end like nothing happened. I don't get it.
well, but I have
Stop
to.
right there and be positive for a minute.
But
I don't want to hear about the negative.
Okay, there isn't any. They're all positive. But anyways, Douglas?
No, I'm good.
Well, you know, I'd like to make a comment.
Oh, dear God.
As a rookie. None of you people really know me, but he kind of persuaded me. I told him, you know, what if I thought I might like to. It was in my bucket list.
Oh, yeah,
You ever see the movie The Bucket List?
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it was in the bucket list. So for the first 5 days, I never saw him. But on the 5th or 6th day, which Doug gave me a lot of pointers and how to, but on the 5th day or whatever, if you're from New York State, you start out in your home state, 1, 2, 3, 4, how many are
Front of the pack.
Well, they were number 3, and I was number 4. So that was my best score that day.
And he still managed to do something wrong.
They call it hacking. I just call it fouling.
Call it drafting.
Drafting. That's what it was. So anyways, we're going along. We're at a pit stop or whatever. What do you call that? A pit stop? No, it's a lunch.
Transit.
Into the transit. Okay, well, I didn't even know what a transit was. Shows you a little picture of an hourglass with the sand dropping out of it, and that's a transit. So it means that you have this much time in that transit. So anyways, we're standing there, and all of a sudden we get ready to go, and Howard jumps out of the car. He's standing next to the side of the road, and what do you think he was doing? I have a legitimate picture. I didn't see anything. What do you think he was doing? So that wasn't so bad. So, but the car was running out of water, and I'm saying, Howard, why are you doing that? Put it in the radiator.
And he did too. And he embarrassed me in front of all my friends.
That hasn't happened before. Yeah, we've never seen you do that before.
Oh.